Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage. Mirage.
All right, everybody, welcome. Thank you. Sorry about that. So it happens when I do an impromptu live video. Thank you, David, for that. Thank you very much. I was just making sure everything is working, and it should be now. We are watching the live landing of Israel on the moon. Sorry about the sound issues at the beginning. One of the problems with this is, obviously, it's not in English, so if we turn on the volume, this is what we get.
The spacecraft is doing exactly what it's supposed to do right now.
Spacecraft is doing exactly. Now we do have it in English. Oh, great. Didn't know that before. So this little screen here that we see could be done by anybody. Again, my stance has always been that this is something that's performed basically as a computer simulation. And, you know, how many of these people are on to the hoax? I don't know. You know, how many people sitting at these computers know that it's a simulation? How would they know? It is a simulation. That's the point. It's supposed to simulate something that could be real. So when you've created an entire universe, basically mathematically, and placed it in a supercomputer, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, it's very easy to send craft to the moon in your computer simulation. Just like it's very easy to send craft to the moon in Kerbal, it's the same thing. Okay, you can go land on other planets, and what do you get? Look what we got here, folks. We've got computer simulations. That's all this is. It's all it will ever be. If you listen to Monday Night Raw this past Monday, we had D. Marble on, and we talked a lot about the idea of being catfished by NASA, catfished by Israel's space community, whatever you want to call them. Space IL, Space Israel, whatever. Basically, they have no Where's the camera? Why wouldn't... It is 2019. They don't have one GoPro-like camera on this craft? Who is buying this? I don't get it. Look, you can even see they're using, you know, that's the Universe Creator, or Universe, what is it called? Universal Sandbox. That's what that little image there in the third screen, you know, if I'm looking at these 4 screens up on the wall, the third one over, looks identical to Universe Sandbox, looks identical to Kerbal. Of course, these people are sitting at their computers and they're getting data back, but it can easily be programmed to return whatever you want. Occasionally, have a certain level go up. And so somebody says, hey, this level's a little high. Correct it, Jim. Okay. I mean, look at all these people with their computers. What could they possibly be doing? You think they have control over this craft? Somebody can press the Control Z key and then everything goes off? I mean, it's all simulated. And what happens if this machine blows up? Is there a simulation for that? Has someone pre-programmed the cartoon to explode if need be? Or do we just have to assume that it's going to land perfectly because science is so brilliant, because these engineers are so brilliant? I mean, this little screen here about the altitude, what are we at? 17,000 meters. I mean, look at all this. Guys, this is done easily. I've seen Eru model things like this on Globebusters. What are we doing here? Why would we accept this? We're being catfished. It's the same thing as when you've got a girl that you met online and you're asking her to go on Skype and show you her face, and she'll always have an excuse. She'll always have an excuse. Oh, my phone's broken. My camera's broken. I can't do a FaceTime right now with you. It's a little bit impossible. I've got bigger things to worry about. I worked all day. I'm tired. It's the same thing. And yet everybody makes excuses for her. Why? Because they love her so much. Oh, there we go. Now we got an... Oh, yes. Now that is certainly the fakest thing I've seen. Who is buying this? Who is clapping for this? That people can create images with layers? I mean, I could take this image. Give me my P900. I'll zoom into the moon, take a little picture of the side of it, and then I'll just input a little lander wrapped in tinfoil. Now, granted, that's not regular tinfoil. That's gold tinfoil. But nothing a 99-cent can of spray paint wouldn't fix. Let's see if there's any sound
Thanks
here.
to the communication with the NASA, with JPL communication.
Oh, yeah, NASA, JPL are very involved, of course.
It is possible to bring the pictures.
Yeah, right. Thanks to NASA, everybody. Remember, this is a private space company. This is the first private space company to ever land on the moon. But again, they need all the help from NASA, no different than SpaceX, no different than these other organizations that take taxpayer money, take subsidies, and then launch things to make it look like it's some sort of private deal. No. I mean, how hard would this be to fake? Wow. I mean, I can't think of really much easier. And of course, all these scientists are going to sit there, all these engineers are going to sit there at their consoles and think everything that they're getting is legit. Look at what we're getting here, folks. This can be done on Kerbal Space Program. It's incredibly simple. It's just mathematics. If the craft turns this much, what do we get as a return on the acceleration here? What's my z-axis? What's my y-axis? It's all computer-based simulation. If you want to believe it, that's on you. And again, do they have an animation ready in case this thing fails? What if this thing crashes on the moon right now? What will the animation show? Well, nothing, because the animation's going to show it land on the moon because this is pre-planned. It's ridiculous. You know? It just gets pretty sad. Real quick here, we're going to transition just so I can show you this browser page, this article here. This is the Space IL website. This countdown clock was on earlier today. If you come down here, Space IL is a nonprofit organization established in 2011, blah, blah, blah. But down here is the important part. Space IL is actively working to create an Israeli Apollo effect. What do you think the Apollo effect is, ladies and gentlemen? The Apollo effect inspired the next generation in Israel and around the world to choose to study science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's all just propaganda. Let's go back over before we miss the live video, which if there's not live video of this thing when it lands on the moon, then how can anybody believe it? But guess what? People will believe it. And just like the car in space, just like the Elon Musk Tesla in space, it'll be no different. That people who don't even watch this will believe it because it will be on the news. Which, an interesting fact, just real quick, I always watch as much of the news as I can just in the morning, see what's going on, see if anything new has happened. I check a few sites, and I don't see this anywhere. I didn't see it on NBC News, CBS News, which is crazy because those people are definitely, propaganda havens. Why did they not even mention this was happening today? Your guess is as good as mine. Now we've got this thing landing. It's squirting its thrusters. Red's rhetoric is celebrating, as is the world. All these screens are nothing but the data. It's in a computer simulation. How difficult is this to understand? The entire universe we've been handed is mathematical. So it's quite easy to create a computer that runs these simulations in this mathematical universe, and people will buy it. And they won't even ask questions, just like being catfished. They'll just go along with it. They're afraid to say, hey, I demand that you get on Skype right now and show me your face. I want to see that you're the girl that has been sending me those pictures with the perfect abs and the great thighs. I want to see that picture. I want to see you live. Oh, I can't today, baby. I'm just, I got work in a few hours and my camera's broken and, I can't do it. It's the same thing we get from NASA. It's no different. It's the same thing Israel's going to get from their Israeli space agency. It's just data, but you better believe it because questioning it means in the public eye that you're an idiot. So that's what I get when I question. I'm questioning this, and will I be called? I'll be called an idiot. Be called a fool. How dare you question that science can't do this? Listened to a show yesterday with a rocket scientist talking to a flat earther. And again, he says, the problem with this is there is no reason why we can't put craft in orbit. There is no reason why we can't go to the moon. There is no reason. Yeah, there is. Because it's impossible. And so it's just funny. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me so much. I do appreciate it. This is an impromptu live stream. Yes, these guys are running it from their computers. Why wouldn't there be live video? There better be. I don't care how fake. You better show me something. Fake your Skype conversation with me, please. I beg of you. Let's see if there's any sound here. We're at 149 meters away, and you'll see now the screen is spaced to changed to a space IL screen. It's very intense here, because nobody input images of the craft failing, nobody input any CGI of the craft crashing, so it's just going to land, and they'll probably send back one picture, much like we got from the Mars landing, and everybody will believe it. And yet I'm ridiculous. I'm the idiot. Not the worldwide audience that just buys this because it's attached to the name of science. There's that image again, which certainly, that looks real. Never seen anything look so real in my life. Craziness. But hope you guys are doing well as we approach this. Please tune back in to my channel at 4 p.m. today. That's in 3.5 hours. From right now, we're going to have Life is Short. His name is Travis, and he'll be coming on to give a nice presentation on angular resolution, perspective, and refraction. And his channel is Life is Short. What is going on? Can we please have the other image? This is crazy. Let's tune back in, see if there's anything new.
אנחנו הגענו עד לירח, זה הישג אדיר. אנחנו מדינה השביעית שהגיעה.
The computer simulation seems to be stuck at 149 meters. I expect better cartoons here. Please don't tell me that's it. What is going on here?
We had a failure in the spacecraft. We unfortunately have not managed to land successfully.
Wow.
We are the 7th country to orbit the moon and the 4th to reach the moon's surface. And it's a tremendous achievement up to now.
Interesting. This is what happens when you do live
but we definitely
video,
tried.
folks.
And I think that the achievement of getting to where we got is really tremendous. I think we can be proud.
So what happened? Now I'm confused. So all the cameras went dead, the thing crashed, and that's it? All these people showed up for nothing?
ישראל על הירח, הייתי רוצה את ראש הממשלה.
Oh, Netanyahu to speak.
If at first you don't succeed, you try again.
Think of the money involved in this, folks. Think of the money that they have spent on this. Wow.
אבל אנחנו רוצים לנחות יותר בנחת, וזה לניסיון הבא, עצם הניסיון הוא הישג כביר.
And again, it changes nothing in regards to what I said, that there's no images of this thing landing. There is no images of it crashing. It's all done in a simulation. Now, why they chose to take this route of we crashed and we'll try again, I don't know. That's not for me. I'm not to tell you what their ideas are behind this. But what makes it sense is that now they can try it again and they can go back to the drawing board and ask for more money now from Israel to say, hey, we just need a little bit more money to do this right the next time.
בואו נתחיל בזה. ההישג הוא עצום, זה 400,000 קילומטר מהמקום שאנחנו נמצאים.
Don't understand that. But, yeah, why they went this route, I don't know. Again, a lot of people will say this proves that it's real because they crashed, that it proves that it's real. Look at this image back here. And the celebrations now that they failed.
אתם הגעתם להישג מדהים.
Way to go, team. Congratulations on getting close, and then what happened? I don't know. So, let's think about this, though. In today's world, we are 50 years removed from America landing a craft with people inside of it. They landed that craft. People got out. They drove around in a buggy. They played golf. They stuck a flag in the ground. And 50 years later, you can't just land a craft there with no humans involved. This is why we know that it can't be done. It's kind of pathetic in a weird way. Is my title of this video is really to the moon? No. Oh boy, I feel like a prophet, sort of. But we knew this was going to be the answer. I said no because it was going to be no whether they showed us some CGI images or whether they showed us a computer simulation. Whatever they showed us, the answer, the hashtag, is no. And it turned out to be correct. That is what happened. Let's flip back over here and see if anything else is new or if we can just end this stream and we all got to watch the fail together. Let's see what's going on. No. And these guys all have things ready to say, of course. There was no live camera on this thing. Over here, we get a lot of people saying congratulations. Next time will for sure be a success. I'm just reading the chat here. I know you guys can't see it, but pretty funny nonetheless. Congratulations. Congratulations. I can't believe you guys came so close. Wow, this is funny. They landed on the moon just a little rough. It's going like 300 miles per hour. Of course, it's going to crash. Congrats, Israel. Love from New Jersey. The Nazi moon base shut it down. Well, of course, there will be lots of talk over this. And let's shake hands. We did well. We got this close. Look at this image up here. Can you guys see this image? This is hilarious. Wish they would show that again. Can I rewind it to where they show us that beautiful image? This is the last image it took before it died. This is, when you get catfished and then the person dies. Didn't that happen? Didn't that happen to some college player? Gosh, I have to think about that again. Sometimes my memory is a little bit weak. There was some college player who had some girlfriend online that he met and fell in love with, and she ended up supposedly dying. But of course, it was just a catfish, and she never lived. Look at this. So this is like the last image she sent before she died. This is the last image of me. Here I go, and people will believe it. They never saw anything live. They never saw anything other than this computer graphics simulation here. And again, where was the simulation of it blowing up? Where's the camera on the craft? You're telling me this craft that you sent to the moon, that you spent millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on, I don't know what the cost is. I could be wrong on that. Don't go fact check me. I don't care if it's $4 million. I don't care if it's $675 million. Doesn't matter. It's millions of dollars. Regardless, I mean, you're going to spend that kind of money on this crap. You have this camera. Is this not a video camera? Now we just take stills. They took video from the moon 50 years ago. Think of how far technology has come. There's now such thing as the internet. There's now such things as high-speed internet. There's Wi-Fi. There's all these things, and they can't have a video? It doesn't make any sense, folks. It really doesn't. Let's catch up with live, see if we're missing anything. Nope, just this guy going on and on about how important it is to continue striving for STEM science research, STEM research, mathematics, get children involved in this, and believing that we can travel outside the earth. And it's so much better to do all these things than it is to spend that money here at home, taking care of human beings and the land that they reside on, have always resided on, and will always reside on. And yet, no, it's just upsetting. So I don't know what else to say. That was kind of not what I expected. I expected a CGI parade. At least I expected what we saw the first half. I expected to see the CGI computer simulation on the screen, which we did see. You expect to see very fake images like this, and then I expected to see very fake images from the moon. But for whatever reason, they've chosen not to do that. Some people may say that that's proof that it's real. I say BS. Again, just like that. Can't remember his name. Somebody will help me with the name. But just like the football player who thought that his girlfriend was real, kept trying to get her to send Skype messages or see her live, and before you know it, she passes away. And then it's like, oh well, she passed away, and now how sad am I? And it's just crazy. Let's listen and see if there's anything in English. Oh boy. I'll translate. Sorry, everybody. This was a massive hoax. We stole the money. But don't worry. We will do it again. Another time. And you will fall for it again. We love outer space. We love the $300 billion space industry, which is 4 times more than the video game industry every year. Thank you. All right, not bad. It's a good song. Very good song. Oh, let's listen.
Morris, will you match it?
Well, here we go.
Okay.
How much more money are we going to
אתה
give
נותן לנו באותה פרופורציה? נדבר. אנחנו הולכים על זה, חללית ישראלית תנחת על הירח. שלמה.
We will fund this next time. We will fund this our entire selves. We will fund it. The government will fund it with taxpayer money. And we will go back to the moon very soon. That's my guess. Again, I don't speak Hebrew or Israeli or whatever language he's speaking. I don't speak it. Unbelievable. Folks, it is what it is. Again, this is the whole basis of my channel is believe what you want. You know? I don't have any problems with people believing anything that they want. If you're a good person, believe what you want. If you want to believe that this craft flew to the moon and did all these different crazy orbits and you want to believe that, that's fine. I'll try and show you the transfer orbit that it made. Oh, wait, it's back here. I just saw it. Where was that? I just saw it on this little screen, but I missed it. I'll find it here. I have one that I've saved from the day before. Let's see if I can find it real quick. 1 second. Where would that be? In here. 1 second. I'm going to find something for you. And unfortunately, I have a million links, so I've got to find the right one. And that's not it. Again, sorry about this. I should have had some of this stuff preloaded, but I did this spur of the moment. Let's see. As India, okay. It's entering moon's orbit. Yeah, I think it's this one. Let's see if we have it. Is this the one with the... Yeah, let's bring this up real quick. Here we go. And actually, will this one be any better? No. We'll stick to this one. So we'll watch this little video down here explaining the orbit that this thing took. That it gets going on an orbit here of the Earth, this wide orbit, and then it's going to show what it has to do when it gets to the moon. And watch this now. Watch carefully. It's going to be really close to the moon, and then it's going to jump into orbit of the moon. Just like that. Folks, this is all computer simulation. Look at that little orbital move there. And then it will get towards the moon, and then not use any camera footage, not use any video cameras, not use any photographs other than the little selfie. But no video. Again, being catfished. That's not my... I don't take any credit for that. That's all D Marble, by the way. Check out his video. I mean, this is ridiculous. So this is it in its orbit. And people will believe this because, look, it's got nice graphics. There, look at the beautiful graphics of this. But then what happens? Oh, it crashes. That's what happens. Follow us, Israeli on the moon. And again, what I think is that they'll just now move this to a more state-sponsored kind of deal. Let's go back here and see if we're missing anything here. Let me catch back up to live and flip you over to here. And that's it. It's over. Wow. Well, folks, what do you think? Do you really think that the plan was to land it, that this was their plan all day, and now they've just cut off their thing? And what do you think? I think you know quite well what I think, and
In other news, after over a month and a half of orbiting the Earth, the history-making Bereshit lunar lander has now finally entered the moon's gravitational field. And so after a 6-minute maneuver performed Thursday morning, the first ever Israeli-designed privately funded spacecraft is one step closer to landing on the moon. Still, there are a few maneuvers left to perform before the lander arrives April 11th on the surface of the moon's Sea of Serenity. Further, the autonomous soft landing in itself will be a complicated and historic feat, which, if successful, would be the fourth such lunar landing in history, following the United States, the Soviet Union, and China. In fact, IAI's Space Division General Manager, Ofer Doron...
Okay, hold on a second. I just want to point one more thing out before we go. So he just said that would be... Let me rewind that just a little so we can hear what countries have landed on the moon. Let's listen again.
Ofer Doron said that there is a significant chance it's the Soviet Union and China. In fact, history, following the United States, the Soviet Union, and China.
Soviet Union and China.
In fact, IAI's Space Division General Manager, Ofer Doron, said that there is a significant chance that we have a crash landing, adding that it's very dangerous and it's difficult to predict we'll succeed. But again, at any rate, there's still about 1 million kilometers to go between now and then, with over 5.5 million kilometers already traveled. And the journey alone has already proven to be...
Okay, we'll stop that real quick. Chances are that they will crash. Chances were that they did. Chances say that they did. Although, again, this is where things get confusing. I don't believe any of this. So again, you're welcome to. You can believe all the stories you hear on the news. I simply choose not to. But we just heard that it says this would be the 4th time that anyone's ever landed on the moon. You just heard that, right? Let me bring this up. Let's see. Again, I have to go to my links, which take a long time. 1 second. Thank you very much for Super Chat. I appreciate that. David said, translate more. It's too tough to translate. I can't keep up with them. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to find something. Is it this one here? Oh, am I not showing you my screen? Sorry. Okay, so here we go. Let's we're just going to flip this over so you can see what kind of lies that are told and how people just, they don't care. I mean, let's go to this browser here. So I just searched, has India landed on the moon? Okay, because again, in my research, I came across a lot of data that says India was the first one to prove that there was water on the moon. They landed on the South Pole. So this here says, was India's first lunar probe. The vehicle was inserted into lunar orbit 8 November 2008. On 14 November 2008, the moon impact probe separated from the Chandrayaan orbiter and struck the South Pole in a controlled manner, making India the 4th country to place its flag on the moon. So, it's crazy. They showed no proof at all. None. So, I mean, there's no proof that this thing even existed, that it was flying around the moon, other than pictures that I could easily duplicate myself. Easily. And maybe I should do that. Maybe I need to show people how we can take moon images, we can zoom in with extremely powerful cameras, and they could have done this 50 years ago with extremely powerful telescopes. Zoom in on the moon, take a little quarter of the size of it, quarter of the side, or if you will, and then, Ranty Flatter just messaged me and says, Israel took one for the team. Totally agree. This just helps build the facade around the idea of the moon landings and how difficult it is. And now they've set this back so that, think about it, we were told before, that we'd be going back to the moon, men would be returning to the moon, but now all of a sudden, now it's questionable because things are much more difficult. Now when you ask or I ask, why haven't we gone back to the moon? The answer will become, well, because Israel tried and they crashed. So that's why we can't send men back there. It's very dangerous. It's very, we can't send men to the moon because they might crash and burn. But we did it 50 years ago because the entire nation of America got behind it, and 400,000 different people had their fingers involved in some way, which makes no sense at all. I mean, if you were going to do something like that, you wouldn't want to pass out all the different jobs to some 100,000 companies or whatever they say that they did. Before you knew it, basically everybody in the country knew someone who worked on the Apollo missions. And so it becomes part of being an American, becomes patriotic to believe that men went to the moon. And this is why people can't stand the idea that we didn't go, because it scares them, because they want to believe that has done these things, that they can leave the Earth, that they can travel 17,500 miles per hour, or 50,000 miles per hour, or whatever. And space is just this empty vacuum, and the Earth just spins freely in it, and the atmosphere never comes off. The atmosphere never is affected, even though now, when you tell somebody, oh, space is empty, it's a vacuum, and they say, well, it's not a complete vacuum. It's actually got a lot of parts. But nothing stops the Earth from spinning. Nothing slows it down. Nothing keeps the atmosphere peeling off. This is just, I don't know what to call it besides science fiction. It is science fiction turned fact. Just yesterday or something, we heard that they took a picture of the first black hole. Give me a freaking break. The black hole that they say they imaged was 321 quintillion miles away. That's 321, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000 miles away. You think they're taking pictures of that? You think they can take photographs from that far? They can't even photograph the damn Earth. It's ridiculous. I mean, if that was possible, if we can see things 321 quintillion miles away, then somebody from Earth should have some footage with a high-powered telescope of this craft crashing on the moon. Where's that footage? I guess we'll see it shortly. Anyway, guys, it's almost 1 o'clock. Again, like I said, in 3 hours, please join me back on this very channel. We're going to be talking with Travis from Life is Short. If you haven't seen his channel, it's got 9 videos on it right now, but a lot of them are quite long, or at least the original video was about 3.5 hours talking about angular resolution, perspective, refraction, and how our eye sees and how lenses work, and whether or not the horizon is a physical thing or an optical thing. For anybody who can just think and do some slight research, you will find out that the horizon that we see is an absolute and complete and total optical phenomenon. And it being optical means we've got to look into optics and not use mathematics like the curvature calculator or the curvature formula, which presupposes R. We don't want to use that. It completely disregards tests and experiments and doesn't include optics at all in those calculations. Somebody can show me where the optical slant or the fact that things disappear from bottom up, or that we have the Rayleigh's criterion, that we have refraction, that all these things are calculated. And I don't mean calculated in with 7.6R, which just makes a basic band-aid for the fact that we can see too far. Oh wait, people are seeing too far now that we have cameras. So pretty soon what will happen next is that that refraction rate will just go up. It won't be 7.6R anymore. It'll be 9.6R. Then it will be 11.6R as we see further and further through the haze, through the atmosphere. So again, if you just join me, I did an impromptu live stream right as they were supposed to be landing on the moon. I called it #Israel to the moon, ? #no. Live, and what happened? #Israel to the moon, and the answer was #no. Supposedly they crashed. Again, you can believe that if you want. You can believe that the United States did it with people in the craft, with moon buggies attached. Went out and played golf, got out in their moon suits, didn't have to worry about any micrometeoroids, didn't have to worry about solar flares, didn't have to worry about the Van Allen belts, didn't have to worry about the 1/8 inch thick, I don't even know if it's 1/8 of an inch, might be even less, tinfoil walls of the LEM spacecraft, which were said to be able to be, if you pushed your finger, it would pop through. If you want to believe all that stuff happened 50 years ago, but now everything else in the world, think of how much better everything's gotten in the last 50 years. Think of how much technology has moved along. Think about how much better we've gotten at everything, except space. Except space. Again, even if you believe in the sphere Earth and you believe in the moon landings and you believe in all that, you don't have the question on your mind of why human beings could go 238,000 miles just 50 years ago, and since then human beings have not gone past 250 miles. You don't see a problem with that? It's pretty ridiculous. It does compare a little bit to the Aristophanes story. Aristophanes, the great librarian at Alexandria, measured the circumference of the sphere Earth with basically 2 sticks and 2 shadows and 500 miles walking distance that, he must have used a prehistoric cell phone or some way of communicating. We don't know. But he knew that the shadows on that certain day created no shadow in one place. So he went 500 miles away and noticed a shadow and measured it and came up with the circumference of the Earth, 24,000 something miles. He was off by just a few percent. But then, and remember, we're talking about 275 BC when this took place, or 250 BC. Who knows? It's around that time. And then think of all the time that went by. Thousands of years. How much exactly? Well, about 1,800 years or so, until somebody got in a boat and said, let's go west. Remember, they knew, because Aristophanes the Great calculated, they knew the size, the circumference. And so it took until Columbus in 1492 got in a boat and said, let's go west. Hey guys, I think we can go west and come back around the other side. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. But again, they tell you these things, and it's in history books, and it's part of science, and therefore it must be true, must have gone through the scientific method. These can't just be stories written by the winners, which is all history is. Simply agreed upon lies. And we know that to be the case. That if there's ever a war between two people, the winners will write that story. And so when you look at Rome, and you look at all roads lead to Rome, then you can start to see where everything that we've been told has been fabricated, and including the landing on the moon. And that's why I despise NASA. And that's why my hope is to be doing a video quite soon. It'll actually be a movie, a NASA movie, in which I can rip them to shreds, because it gets to be to the point where you just realize what NASA's entire intent has been since it became into existence in 1958. It's to sell you the idea of that we're just like everything else in the sky. Just like men can live on this sphere and stand upside down and no gravity pulls to the middle. Well, men have also been to the sphere in the sky. And they've also landed there. And here's some video footage. But today, 50 years later, we can't even strap a GoPro to the craft. We can't even strap any kind of a video recording system. Why not? Why? What is the possible reason for this? With all the satellites they have up there, and they even have satellites orbiting the moon, supposedly, sending back images from the lander from China. Somebody needs to explain to me how we don't have the technology in 2019 to film what happened today. Well, why not? Because it's a simulation. Because it's propaganda. It's a mine F, if you will. Nothing more. And that's about it, guys. So yeah, like I said, at 1 o'clock, I'm sorry, not at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock's coming up at 4 o'clock. So in 3 hours, definitely check back this channel. We've got Travis from Life is Short, and that should be a great presentation. If you want to learn how our eyes work, and you want to learn how lenses work, and why it is that we see what we see, this is the best presentation you'll probably see on that, at least in a while. I think that Curious Life of a Flat Earther, Kurt did one of the best videos on angular resolution and perspective. Research Royal Rife has also done an equally good video about that. I think both those videos are on my channel. I will make sure that I have links ready for those. But please, tune back in, check that out. And again, this has been an impromptu live stream. We watched the Israel land on the moon, and what happened? The video cut out, and they said they crashed. So that's where we stand now. Will we get some footage? Well, if we do, it certainly isn't live. It certainly can be made by somebody like Iru Landucci or any other 3D animation artist easily can put together enough. So don't be surprised if in a day or two comes some video of the crash. It certainly wasn't live. It'll certainly be done after the fact. And these are things that we have come to expect when we're talking about space. We are being catfished. Again, thank you, D Marble, for that, because it's I can't think of really a better metaphor for what's going on than being catfished. We're being catfished. We've been sold the beauty and the grace that goes involved with everything that is NASA, and it's been sold so hard that at this point nobody demands proof that everything that they say even exists. They don't even care, because they've been sold so hard on this beautiful girl that they've been sent photos of, and that she loves you, and that she cares about you, and she wants to move here from Nigeria with her brother, the prince, who has $37 million in a bank account that his uncle left to him after his untimely death due to a cancer. And basically they want us to be the beneficiaries of that. Please just send your information. And yeah, you've heard it all before. It is what it is. So guys, it's been fun. Again, I'll be back in 3 hours with Travis from Life is Short. Should be a great show. And until then, I remind you to do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. Till next time, this has been Jeranism. Peace.